everyone, welcome to DNA. Today our special guest is Yao Zhang.
Hi everyone.
And we are going to talk about a very interesting topic today. What it's like to live in New York. A lot of people will ask, is it like Sex and the City? Is it like Gossip Girl? Or is it like How I Met Your Mom? Many people will have very different perspectives and different experiences. And personally, living in New York for so many years, my experience has also changed a lot. So my friend Yao, she moved here many years ago, and I bet she has a lot of interesting stories to share with us today. So welcome again, Yao.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here as well.
Why don't we start with the beginning of your New York life? What prompted you to move here?
Sure. So I actually moved here 8 years ago because I got a job here. And then just like many young people, New York is always the starting line for many people in their career. So I actually interned in a bank and then I get the return offer.
I see. And you've been always working in the financial industries?
That's correct.
Gotcha. Wow. New York in the finance industry, that sounds like a golden combination. So tell us about your life in New York so far. I bet at the beginning, around the financial crisis, it's probably very tough.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I joined as an analyst in the program, and then through the financial crisis, everybody was really nervous about the job, the market, and what the future would be like. Like many other New Yorkers working here, the first period is really about work, and then we don't have much leisure time after work as well, just because we are junior people. But through time, you get more senior, and looks like the economy is getting better. So we gradually find more fun outside of work.
So now you have more life.
Yes.
Before you had more work. So what do you like the most about living here?
I would say it's the culture and also the endless possibility. Because just like I mentioned, many of us start here. New York might be our destination, or it might just be a turning point. But regardless, we do learn and grow a lot being here.
Do you mind elaborate a bit more on how New York has shaped your life in the past few years?
Sure, I would say my relationship with New York is almost like any relationship you will have encountered with a guy. When I first came here for my internship, I actually lived in Brooklyn. And then it's a student housing, so it's actually a building with many other interns who actually live there in the summer. So every day I took the subway to Wall Street to work, and then after that, sometimes I hang out with friends, go to the intern events, etc. But I do have to say I somehow dislike it because it's always chaotic and it's always really noisy. And sometimes people are rude, and yeah, it's very dirty as well. It's not until maybe after 6 or 7 weeks through the internship, I started to appreciate a little bit of it. I mean, even though the subway is really dirty, at least it runs 24 hours. And then it's really chaotic, but that means at any point of time, you'll be able to find a restaurant that's open and you can buy food. And of course, with that many people, sometimes they are rude, sometimes they're nice. You do see different perspective of life.
It's actually how I felt when I first moved to New York. It's ridiculous. I just moved from Boston at that point, and I figured, wow, New York is so dirty, people are so rude, they don't say sorry when they hit you. And I keep on telling my colleagues and friends, like, hey, I think everyone's wrong. Boston is much better than New York. And everybody just look at me as I'm a weirdo. Is there anything that you particularly don't like about New York, even until now?
It's one dilemma for me, and thank you so much for pointing out this question. Because the one thing I like about New York a lot is people always come and go. So that means you get to see different people all the time. But one thing I really don't like about New York is people come and go all the time. So every week you might have friends moving out, and every week you might be meeting new people. And sometimes it's this sense of not being settling down that would prompt you to think, okay, is New York the final destination of my life?
Can you describe to me your work life in New York?
I would consider myself as a working professional or a banker, but I'm not a rude type. So every day we we go to work, and then like most of the people, we take the subway or other means of public transportation. And I'm actually lucky because I work on the trading floor. I do not need to work really late hours as well. So my work hours around the market. And after work, normally it would be either hanging out with friends, and then also like many other people, we try to have a really healthy and balanced life. So that's how the gyms are getting more and more popular. And then actually around the office,
So it's like a coffee shop in Seattle. In New York, you go to gym.
Exactly, and they have all different types of gyms.
Sounds like quite a routine weekday life, right?
Yes.
Do you do different things on weekends?
Yeah, so weekend is really where the varieties of things could come up. So we either go to the museums and we have brunch with friends. Sometimes I even bike. As many people in New York, we enjoy biking, and the city is getting better and better to get all the bike lanes. So it's actually one of my favorite activity because it helps you clear the head, and also you get to go through different places at a really efficient manner.
I bet there are a lot of people thinking about moving to New York at this moment, either because they are moving for a job or just for the personal passion.
Yes.
So do you have any advice for those people? What are the key things they should consider before making this very important decision?
One thing I do learn a lot from my 8 years experience being here is one would always need to be open-minded because there are so many information flowing through every day. But at the same time, one would also need to be aware not to lose themselves. Just because of all these influences and impact, one might actually feel easy to fall into a limbo stage because they just don't know which directions to take, which way to take, and they just feel like this city is not for me just because there are so many things to try out. But I would have to say, in this particular city, there are still love and there are always beautiful things, and it's definitely a destination that's worth exploring.
Living in New York is not safe.
Ding! All right, so I'll elaborate a little bit. So we all know, New York is actually quite big. It consists of 5 boroughs, and some places in New York you just need more cautious around it because it might be dark and it might be a little bit isolated. But most of the places that we might actually go, it is actually quite safe.
New York is full of bankers because of Wall Street, fashionista probably because of the Soho or Fifth Street, and also artists because there are a lot of stand-up and Broadway artists in New York. Are those the typical 3 very unique talents you would call out for New York?
Those 3 are definitely consist of a majority of people here. But in addition to banker, I think there's a bigger group that's called working professional. That's usually bankers, lawyers, doctors, consultants, and
as I used to be.
Exactly. And then for artists, there are actually a lot of street artists who does photography, painting, and a lot of them now actually center around Brooklyn. So if we go to Williamsburg, Greenpoint, Bushwick, there are a lot of studios and then artists being there as well. So it's definitely a cool place to go.
New York is very hard to settle. People come and go all the time, as you said. But being single is the most beautiful thing in New York. This is your chance to use your process.
I know. So, okay, I have to clarify for this one. One should always feel beautiful, no matter whether they are single or they are married or they are in a relationship. I do think that being single in New York opens the door for many different activities and the opportunity to meet many people. But as I said, depends on what's your final pursuit of happiness. Sometimes it could be a little bit tough to find the perfect person here, just because the other person might be looking for their
completely different thing.
Exactly, and also just because of people coming and going, many times you might actually meet somebody, but you might not be able to end up with them in the longer term.
Silence is perhaps the most elusive commodity in New York. There is constant noise, 24 hours.
Right, and I have to say the one noise that one can hear the most is the fire sirens and the police cars, and for some reason they just show up everywhere in the street.
Which makes you feel it's very unsafe.
But indeed, you can think of it from another perspective because they are always on the street, so it's actually safe.
That's a good point.
Yes.
So are you able to fall asleep?
Yes, because after some point, you just get used to it. So when you're actually in a really quiet place, you might actually find it harder to fall asleep just because you don't have the white noise anymore.
Oh, you're too used to it. Subway sucks in New York. They are dirty and old, and you will see things on the subway that you may not be able to unsee. I feel bad. You haven't been using that lovely emoji.
I'll use both of them because...
Well, I guess Subway is truly this. If I have to pick, I will pick this as
Right,
well.
but I have to put the smiley
I need to
face.
come up with some memes that will allow you to give a loving emoji.
But I mean, like, to be fair, the New York subway, even though it's dirty and they just stop for no reason, and you get to see some strange people, it does run 24 hours and it gets you through all 5 boroughs around the city. So
Gotcha.
in a way, it's still somehow
So it
efficient.
allows you to actually explore that endless possibility until late night, and you can still get home.
And for people like me who doesn't drive too well, I think
I don't
public
drive at all.
Yeah, public transportation, and now with all these Uber, Lyft, and taxi is definitely a really good way for people to get around.
You will develop an aversion to going anywhere more than 3 stops away from your apartment on weekends. Sounds like you don't, because you have tons of fun activities on weekends. Is that true for a lot of people in New York?
I would say yes, especially for people who are so comfortable in their comfort zone. I would say maybe 3 subway stops is already too far for them, or 3 blocks would actually be their areas of activities. And I actually heard in the dating scene that some people will refuse to see each other if they are always walking distance away.
What? Is it because everything is available, is around within 3 blocks? Restaurant, gym, coffee, whatever you
Yes.
need.
And especially for many newcomers working in finance, they like to live around financial district because their office and their home are normally 5 minutes away.
Taxi drivers are the most aggressive and non-conventional in New York.
I would say all the people who drive in New York are really aggressive, no matter whether you are driving or you are biking. I think it's just because this city is so crowded and people always want to get to their destination at the fastest possible.
People are always rushing.
Yes, and then they are trying to fight the narrow road.
I personally felt that I'm becoming more a faster walker now after living in New York so many years. The first time I come here, everybody was passing me and a lot of people hit me and never say sorry.
Right.
They probably think I was the trouble on the street that's moving so slow. But now I move so fast, and when I see those people, like, I think I get to in that annoyed mode. Thank you again for joining us today, Yao. Your perspective and experience is really, really interesting. And I hope it helped our fans to demystify what it's like to live in New York. And as we said, there is so much possibility and opportunities in New York. So think about what you want, and hopefully you can make your decision wisely.
Yes.
But I'm sure if you move to New York, you will have a lot of fun.
And you will see us.
Yes, let's say this together. What it's like to live in New York. DNA, get!